Hi, I'm Jamie from Sci-Fivision. Thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. And I like your little doggy.
Thank you. Hi, Jamie. I like your background.
Oh, thank you. So to start off, why don't you both talk about why you got involved in it? I mean, why was it important to you to be a part of it?
For me, growing up as an Afghan woman and having heard about these Afghan dreamers actually coming out of Afghanistan and competing internationally, that was something that had always inspired me. And when I first saw the project, when I saw the breakdown and the script of the project, it was just really shocking in a good way that there was a filmmaker who was interested in portraying the story of Afghanistan, but showcasing women and showcasing their accomplishments and their resiliency and their strength. And that just completely sold me. I really wanted to be a part of the project. And because of what I had known about Roya and the girls, and because I had what I had known about, you know, up to that point, the Hollywood industry not showcasing Afghanistan maybe in this specific, colorful, and beautiful way.
But Nikohl.
Um, I think if we're being honest, there still aren't that many films that um, come around that have, a woman as a lead. There's that, and then that have an ensemble of Afghan w women from the Middle East and young women, women in STEM. Um, with no love story, no romance, no like it's almost like an action sports film told about women and for women, and it's just very exciting. It doesn't happen very often, and when the script is good and told by a director as amazing as Bill as well, how could you not be dying to get involved? I mean, at that point as well, the film was still called Afghan Dreamers.
Mm.
It's Yeah. I mean, there's that. And then I even love Rule Breakers when they changed the title. It took me like a little bit minute for it to grow on me, but then it occurred to me that when you think of a rule breaker, you would never think of an Afghan woman or a woman in STEM. And we're completely flipping so many expectations and stereotypes on their head with this film in a very entertaining and heartfelt way. But yeah, uh, we're really lucky.
Talk about your prep, what your prep was like for this for both of you.
We did a lot of dialect work for the one hand. That's something that I remember very distinctly. And that's something at the note of the director that was very, he wanted to make sure that we were all consistent. We all understood how important the dialect could be. And I liked that he said we wanted to do in English and we wanted to do a subtle dialect because we wanted the girls to feel extremely relevant, not otherworldly, and still being able to be just like every other girl that we see in media. So I really appreciated that aspect. For Essen in particular, there was a lot of work into looking at robotics competitions, looking at TED Talks from the girls and from Roya, looking at the documentary of Afghan Dreamers, looking at all of these different components just so that I could get a feel for their lifestyle at the time and how these robotics competition worked. And then looking at like why what are her the ways that she acts, why does she act the way that she act, given her family background. So a lot of talks with my family, a lot of trying to understand how my parents grew up, how my aunts grew up, what was their situation in Afghanistan like, so that I could get a better feel for telling Essen's story. Yeah.
Well,
I think thanks for reminding me about the
The
accent.
dialect.
That really was
That was a big part of
ongoing
it.
and
Yeah.
happening while we were working as well, just to make sure that we were all, consistent. Um, I think speaking on that, I did have a question of why, is it the best choice to tell it in English? But I think that Bill and everyone, including Roya and Elaha, were deeply committed to as many people, this being
Mhm.
able to touch and reach as many people as possible. And we're able to accomplish that with the film being told in English. And then for preparation, we were in a really unique position where there was so much footage, press about these girls and specifically Roya on the internet already. I'd never played a real person before, and there was podcasts upon podcasts and interview and TED Talk and articles, and I could really kind of get a sense of Roya's personality, and then I had access to her as well directly through Zoom at the time because we were still in the pandemic, and with Alaha to like pick their brain to get a sense of who she was really. And to me, what stood out to me was um, she's so strong and so powerful and professional, but also to do what she's done takes an incredible amount of passion and heart and drive and a big, big heart. And I really wanted to portray that, to express, to have that be seen. And we get to like, I think through even the way that the camera, focuses in on her eyes, my eyes, and we're seeing like a young girl's world be like exploded open, and her inner journey, her emotional journey through the film.
Since it was based on a true story, were either of you worried about portraying real people and kind of how it would be taken in the end? I mean, it is obviously a very inspirational story, but I'm just curious, did that concern either of you at all?
I think having I know for me having Alaha and Roya very involved, very hands-on on the film, I was able to put that to rest. Of course, at the beginning, you're like, who is telling this story and why are they telling this story? But it doesn't take long after meeting Bill, our amazing director, that he's deeply committed to telling the most truthful story that he can and to putting something out there that's going to bring light and attention to the people that deserve it the most. He has absolutely no ego. This isn't about him at all. And he's the first person to give credit where credit is due. And so, the trust that Roya and Alaha, her sister, had put into him, I think put my mind at ease completely. I felt like this was a very much a team effort, and that included Roya and Alaha, and we were just like one facet of that, one arm of that octopus.
Did you feel the same, Amber?
Yeah, I think for me, there were some concerns about playing real people. We as the girls had it a bit, I guess, more different. It was just different than you did because you were playing Roya, who we have so much information on. And as the girls, we were kind of an amalgamation of the original team and the different stories that had happened throughout the team's journey. So we were fictional characters based on real events and real situations and real backgrounds. So we had some more liberty with it, and we could bring in our own personality or give our own take on the characters. But I think that with all of the prep work, the costuming, the script writing, the details that went into it, I think that we were able to each create our own character, our own version of an Afghan girl, one that is relatable to different people, to different women around the world. And I think that the concerns faded away when you realize how diverse every girl is, despite where they're born. They are still diverse. So we could bring kind of our own touch into it and our own spin into it.
You guys learn anything about yourself after this? Because it is so inspirational. I would think that it maybe changed the way you viewed yourself for either of you.
I will say that I'd never been in a position to be like a leader and mentor on a project like this before. The last and watching the girls, I was reminded of my first film that was shot in the Middle East as well, in Lebanon, and I was so protected and so guided and supported by the more mature, experienced actors on the set. So that was very much a new experience for me. And they had bonded so much, and I was like a little bit outside of that, just like Roya is. I love that scene where she's like, how did you sleep? You guys look tired. And they're like, great. She's like, oh, thank God I didn't. And she's just a little bit removed from them, and I think that existed with us as well. It was a new experience. Sometimes I I want to come have a slumber party too. But
Always
it was
invited.
it was really interesting. It was really interesting to see that like maternal quality in myself, and how protective and proud I felt. I was like a proud mama, and that was really a new experience for me. And I think it's something that I don't know if art is imitating life or life is imitating art, but it's something that's like kind of a theme that's continued in my life. Now I'm a dog mama. I don't know what's next.
You are like our grounding force, and I really appreciate that. Like your energy and your presence really carried through us and pushed us at times. So I appreciate that. You were very like mentor like Roya was with the girls. And for me, I think I really learned from Essen how to balance that femininity with finding your voice and being strong. And that's something that I have personal experience trying to find my voice and learning that growing up. And I was able to bring that to Essen, but Essen was able to bring to me just finding that balance of like having that confidence, but having the grace and the femininity and the humility. I think it's a beautiful combination, and Essen really taught me a lot.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, both of you. I appreciate it. I enjoyed the film. So thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
rest
you
of
so
your day.
much. We appreciate it. Thank you.